Alright, today I got a package in the mail. I just stepped outside the porch and there it was. I opened it. There was this box inside that says French press on it. I opened it up and it really was a French press. So if you remember, earlier this year I used a French press for the first time, and then we tried to buy one and we broke it, and so I haven't had a French press. But there was a little note in here that said that it was from Stacy's brother Brian, who had just been here. He said thank you for the hospitality, and then he gave us a French press. That's pretty awesome. So I'm about to make some coffee with my very own French press for the very first time. To do that, I need some hot water. So I have now, with this one, I'll have 3 different ways of making coffee. Well, if you count some of the fake coffee that I have that you can make, like tea, what do you call that stuff, the instant coffee, then I guess I have 4 ways, but I wasn't counting that. So 3 ways of making coffee. So first, I'm going to heat up some water, and then we'll see how this brand new French press works. All right, well, it's brand new, so I'm hoping it's clean, but just in case, I need to rinse out whatever manufacturing dust is on the inside there. Don't want to get sick from manufacturing dust. All right, and then I'm going to find my sister. Ruth was here. She was here right before Stacy's brother Brian was here, and she gave me this coffee right here. It's a Trader Joe's coffee, a light medium roast barista espresso coffee blend. So I'm going to try this in my French press and see what I think. So I need to grind a little bit of it, and it says I'm not supposed to grind it too fine, and I suppose that is so that it doesn't go through this filter screen. This will be really my second time ever of making coffee with a French press. So here it goes. Let's grind some beans, see if I can make them not too fine. That's more than I'm going to need, but I'll measure it out when I put it in there. What do you think, William? It's going to be so yummy? Yeah. All right. So then I'm going to measure out enough for 2 cups, basically. Oh, a little bit more would actually be good. Woo. Coarse ground. There we go. Goodness. All right. So supposedly one of these for each cup that I want to make. So I'm going to put in 2 cups, and then you go with 16 ounces of water. And we'll see how that turns out. All right, wait for the water to get hot. All right. Now we have some hot water. I have some grounds. And I'm going to pour it in there. Probably about there, I think. Put the lid on. Then I have to wait 4 minutes. Then I'll tell you what it tastes like. And go. All right, time to test it. So here's the cup of coffee. It's hot. It's good. Something different about the way a French press makes coffee than the way even my little espresso machine or the regular brew. And so I think it's nice. I think I'm going to like having one more way of making coffee and one more flavor in the coffee that I make. So thank you, Brian, for the French press, and thank you, Ruth, for the coffee beans from Trader Joe's. And I'm out here on my back porch. I'm looking right now behind me. That's just a tree that's in our yard. This is all this space where the children play. I love the views right now because you have a lot of fall leaves happening. And when I was thinking this week of just what God has done in my life in the last year, one of the things that I'm so grateful for is work that I can do that I'm absolutely passionate about. So we made We Three Kings the movie, and even right now I'm still having so much We Three Kings movie work to do that it's a little frustrating at times because I'm done, but I'm not done. And so there's paperwork, there's legal work, there's copyright work, all of these pieces, and then we're planning for, and we're actually going to be planning some screenings coming up in November and December in other locations. So if you watch out on our social media pages, you'll be able to see, you might have a chance to come meet us and interact with us and see We Three Kings the movie. So I'm excited about that. But what this past weekend, my brother-in-law Brian and his family were here, and we went up into the mountains a few times, and one afternoon we just spent some time by a creek, and our children were playing in the creek, throwing rocks in the creek. In fact, Brian and I got in on the fun a little bit, and we're throwing rocks as well. But there was a point where I was lying down on like a creek bank in the grass up near Evergreen, Colorado, and I was looking up at the sky, and I was seeing the blue sky and the green trees, and my whole life long, I've absolutely loved looking up at the sky, seeing the green trees. I remember doing it in Montana. I remember doing it in Tennessee. I remember doing it in Missouri. I even remember doing it in Texas, although in Texas I had to be very careful where I lay down because I could get into fire ants real quick. And so I almost remember more in Texas of being inside a live oak tree, lying on a big branch, looking up at the sky, looking up at the trees around me. And it really reminded me of the fact that, life is always busy. And especially for me, I feel like there's always work that can be done. There's always more film work. There's always more ministry work. As a pastor and a filmmaker, there's always something that's on my desk that says, right now, you've got to do this. This is urgent. It's necessary. You've got to do this. There's always some relationship, whether it's within my family or in the community, where I'm thinking, I really need to spend more time. And so I always have these, it's a never ending, it will always be there. And so if I think that one day I will be finished, I'll be done, I'll never get there. In fact, when I'm finished here on earth, it'll be time to get my tombstone and put it on top of my grave. And so when I finally get to rest will be the time when I'm with Jesus in glory. Until then, I have these moments where I get to have a little bit of coffee, a few moments lying on the creek bank looking at the skies, some time laughing and playing a game with someone, tickling my boys, wrestling with them, jumping on the trampoline with some kids. All of these are my little opportunities to refresh and to be restored. And what I really, really am grateful for is that as a believer, I do not have to provide all of my own rest. And so while I still have to carve out my schedule and say, it's important, I need to rest, what I have been so grateful for more than anything is that coming from within, my connection with my Savior, Jesus Christ, He is my rest. He is my restoration. He does give me energy. He does give me peace. He gives me rest in the middle of it. And so I'm able to stop what I'm doing on my desk and just walk away for a moment, and then I'm able to focus on Him, think about Him for a minute, and then come back and refocus on whatever is at hand. But He is my rest. Jesus really is a living Sabbath. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for that relationship with God. And so this week, in the middle of a lot of busy things, and one of the things I love about this season, a couple weeks ago, my sister Ruth and then my sister Dorcas was up here, then my parents were up here for a couple of days, and then Brian and Alicia, Stacy's brother, were up here, and now her, and then we have some missionary friends coming in for this weekend, and then next week we have one of Stacy's sisters coming, and I love this season of all our, friends and family coming and spending time with us. But it can also tend to be a little cluttered, a little too much, where I'm thinking, I don't have time for this. But I do, actually, and I love it. And so I'm grateful for those relationships. I'm grateful for these necessary pauses to stop and consider what God has done. And there's a scripture, and I looked it up on my phone. Yeah, I really do like this. It's a good coffee. So I will probably end up using the French press a lot because it's easy to make 1 cup, and it's kind of fun because I have to heat up the water. And so especially when I need a break from downstairs, I can hop back upstairs and I can do that. So I think I will probably end up doing that. All right, so what I wanted to show you now is that, it's in Psalm 19. I love this psalm, and I just wanted to read it for a moment. And then I have a few pictures that I want to show you from when we were up in the mountains, of the creek, the skies, and stuff. So I'm going to try to have those all ready as well. So here is Psalm 19. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world." This is what I think of when I'm lying on the grass looking up at the sky and I'm seeing the trees. I think about this. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. So verse 5, it continues. It says, the sun, talking about the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoices like a strong man to run its race. Its rising is from one end of heaven, and its circuit to the other end, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them your servant is warned, and in keeping them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse me from secret faults. Keep back your servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then I shall be blameless, and I shall be innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. I love this. It starts with a consideration of the heavens declaring the glory of God, and it ends with a prayer. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. And so this week, in the middle of unexpected busyness, I was expecting a little more rest right now because I thought I was going to be finished with the movie and moving on to other projects, but I still have projects lined up on my desk, more than I can do, things I need to finish. And in the middle of that, I have taken some time to look at the skies, to remember that they declare the glory of God, and then I'm just asking God that He would, that the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart would be acceptable in His sight. And I'm grateful for the work He allows me to do. And so, I don't know, I think maybe you should, it might be too late where you are to go get a cup of coffee, but you should at least go somewhere where you can look up through the trees and see the sky. And let the skies declare the glory of the Lord to you and minister to your heart. And then just submit all the busyness and everything else you got going on to the Lord, and let Jesus be your Sabbath. It's awesome. That's my thought for today. Until next time, have a great time.